YouTube family. My name is Sonia. Welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always tuning in and listening to me. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to the channel. In this channel, we talk about everything finances and real estate. So thank you for always coming back, and for those who are still to join. And as we grow, maybe be out there, especially this summer, staying hydrated and staying away from the heat, okay? So we don't get some issues with our system. So in today's video, we are actually going to be talking about importance of home inspection, or what are some of the benefits you're going to get from doing a home inspection. But before I dive into that, I just want to leave you with this quote. It says, "Do it now. Do not wait. Do not wait, for the future depends on what you do today." You don't want to regret for not doing the things you were supposed to do today, and at the later date say, "Had I known." Okay, so let's dive into today's video. And what are some of the benefits you're actually going to get if we end up doing a home inspection, right? Remember, I said you could choose to and you could choose not to. But if I were you, I would choose to do it. So the first benefit you're actually going to get from doing a home inspection, like I mentioned in my previous video, is going to be identifying the issues. Identifying issues on a property you're actually going to purchase is very, very important. Reason being that you don't just want to go into buying a property blindly. You don't just want to go buy that property without knowing what is wrong with it, without knowing if it's suitable for you to stay in, without knowing if your family is okay. And even if you're going to not end up staying in there, who you're going to bring in as a tenant, is it safe for them to stay in there? So you have to ask yourself those questions, right? And you can't just know unless you do a home inspection to actually know, hey, this is okay, this is not okay in the house. So the very first thing a home inspection, or the very first benefit you're going to get from doing a home inspection, is identifying the issues. And this is all about whenever the inspector does a thorough examination, they bring out the problems, maybe safety issues, the components of the house and the systems in that house, right? They look at all these things, and now they tell you if some of those things have some issues that they've identified. And these issues could come from your plumbing, your HVAC, your electrical system, your foundation, your roof, your window, your door, your floor, your roof. It could come from anywhere. There's nothing specific, right? You don't have any specific area that has to be an issue. Since they do a whole general inspection of the house, of course, you might find one or two issues from that house that might be of concern to you, that you might like the seller to repair, that you might think it's not safe enough for you to stay there. So of course, you know the issues in that house, right? So you already have that, you already know what is wrong with it ahead of time before even venturing to actually purchase the house. And this could equally include stuff like the structure of the house and safety hazards, right? I talked about safety hazards, and by then you have the ability to actually ask to do a repair or a price reduction. And the ones that really need to be done, right? There's some repairs that you don't ask for a house reduction, because if it's safety, of course, it needs to be taken care of. So that's the first thing in an inspection is going to save you from. Remember, I said save yourself from the tomorrow we don't know, right? The second thing is informed decision making. So once this information is gathered, these issues are brought onto you or brought to your attention. Of course, you know, if I want to purchase a house with a shaky foundation, the structure or the environment is not so safe for you to stay there, you make those decisions at that time. You know that, okay, I can deal with some of the issues I have seen in the report, or I cannot deal with them at all. Do you have the options not to buy at that moment? Yes, you do. Because of course you have to go down to the seller, tell the seller that this is what we saw, this is what the inspection report gave us. Either you fix it, you have so many options, but if you really don't feel comfortable, of course you can tell them and you guys can negotiate about it. And that's when you actually can back you can actually back out if the seller refuses to actually do the repairs, or do a price reduction or an adjustment or something. But at least at that time, if you feel like it's not safe enough for you and your family, you cannot stay in a house that has electrical issues, plumbing issues, the roof is not okay, everywhere is leaky, even the HVAC system is not working. Of course, at that time, you can negotiate. Yeah, you have the tools in your hand to actually negotiate or back out if you so cannot deal with the issues in the house. So that gives you an informed decision, an upper hand to make those decisions at that moment. The number third benefit of doing a home inspection is negotiation. It gives you the ability to be able to negotiate. And as I was talking about negotiation, you can actually talk about what you want to repair from the inspection report, right? Whatever the inspector had uncovered, you can request for them to address those repairs. You can request for them to actually make some other financial concessions that will cover the cost of the things they did not repair, right? And that is why if they don't do those repairs, of course, they will have to end up trying to cover the cost, and at the end of the day, make a price adjustment of the house. So if they have to cover the cost, like let's just say the original price of the house was supposed to be 300, and they ended up making a concession to cover some of the cost of the items they didn't repair, or they repaired some and decided we are not going to repair this, but we're only going to cover the cost. At the end of the day, of course, that amount that they are going to cover is either they want to pay to you, or they want to reduce the price of the house, and then you get a house at a reduced price instead of getting it for 300, right? So that gives you the power and ability to be able to negotiate back with the seller and make sure the property meets your needs before you end up purchasing it. Okay, so the number 4 benefits is gonna be safety and peace of mind. I can't stress this enough. When it comes to safety, no matter what other things you have in the house, right, or what other issues come up in the house, your priority is it safe? Can I sleep and wake up and not have my heart pounding in the middle of the night? Or can I sleep in this house? Or even if I say you end up having someone to live in there, are those people safe? Because guess what? If you buy it that you know for a fact it's not safe, give it to put it on rentage, and you end up fixing all those things, and something happens to that family, you are going to be held responsible, right? So if you are not giving it out for rentage and you end up want to stay there, and something happens to your family, of course you're still going to be responsible. It might be going to be a responsibility in a different category, but of course somebody has to be responsible for it. So if this house inspection comes out and there are safety concerns, and you tell the seller, hey, I have some concerns about the safety of this house, and I need you to be responsible, because of course you're the one selling me this house, so you need to be responsible for those safety issues. So by the time I move in with my family, I have peace of mind. So you make sure that everything or every hazard, safety hazard that was identified in the property, maybe it's handled before you get in, such as maybe faulty electric wiring, because we don't want that, especially if you have little kids. And might be not even only little kids, right? You never know. You might just be passing by and mistakenly touch those faulty wiring systems. You didn't know anything about it, or maybe you did, but accidents happen. So if you know the house has some faulty wiring issues, you want to better be safe than sorry, okay? You don't want to have plumbing leaks get into the house and you have to start fixing places, because of course if it's leaking, maybe it ends up giving you mold, or maybe you end up having to spend to figure out what is wrong with it. And most of these things you can fix on your own, because of course you're not a professional, so you have to hire somebody. And at the end of the day, you keep spending, okay? So make sure you get this home inspection. And one other thing you could have is, like I said, mold, right? So if you already have mold growing in the house, you want to make sure those things are actually addressed at the very beginning. You don't want to wait till later. So when you get this inspection, it is kind of they'll say a pass, right, for you to actually go in and buy the house, because of course it's safe for you to live in. You don't have to be worrying about so many different things, especially when you just spend all that money purchasing a house. The money is not going to come back. Remember, you're only going to keep spending, paying paying mortgage, paying for insurance, paying for taxes, paying for other bills, right? Utility or the gas. Sometimes it's different. Maybe you have somewhere that utility is different from your gas, right? And you have to pay all these things, right? So remember, when you buy a house, you keep money keeps going out, it's not coming in. So you want to make sure you don't spend the money you were supposed to be saving. It's not going out because of negligence. So we want peace of mind at all costs. Number 5 benefits of actually doing a home inspection is going to be long-term planning. I talked about budgeting some on one of my videos, and this is something concerning budgeting, right? If you know from the inspection report that in the next couple of years, in the next 5, in the next 2, in the next 10, in the next 15 years, I'm going to be able to service some of these systems. I'm going to need to change some of these things in the house. Of course, you have the ability to start budgeting toward that or start planning for those things. So it provides insights on the condition of various components of the property, and it helps you plan for future maintenance. And like I said, planning just means I have to start keeping money aside. In essence, I have to budget for this thing for the next few years to come. So if it's now, you know that my roof is not going to be everlasting. It's only going to stay there or work or function properly for a couple of years, and after that it needs to be changed. Your water heater is not going to be forever. At some point it's going to have a breakdown. So of course, if they told me from the report that this has been working for 6 years, and in the next few years you will need to make a new purchase. Aren't you aware that, of course, after some years I'm going to get it? Rather than not even doing the inspection and not knowing how long you still have for that water heater, and then one day it just breaks down on you. You didn't plan for it. How are you going to feel? So bad. Now, worst case scenario is in the winter. If you live in the area where it has snow, that you can't deal with cold water, okay? So imagine yourself during that harsh winter. go in and you want to take a shower and the water heater doesn't work. And that's because maybe you didn't know because you didn't do the inspection and you have no clue, and now the water heater stopped working. And maybe you never even insured those things right. Now you didn't plan for it and you have to get one. It's not in the summer when you can maneuver, maybe just have some cold water and it's gonna be okay because you need to cool down. No, you don't need to cool down in the winter, you need some warm water. You need some warm water to get your stuff going, okay? So make sure you get those inspections so you have some of these things known ahead of time and then you can start planning toward them. It's very okay to plan because even if it was your future, you don't plan today, of course, you're planning to fail. Failure to plan means planning to fail, okay? So you don't just want to wake up to it like uh, uh, it just occurred. You want to wake up, even if it happens, you want to know that, hey, I had once been told this thing only had this particular lifespan. It could only work for a certain period of time. And I had started putting money aside to get me a new one. Now that it came, I really don't have to feel the burden because of course you already planned ahead of it. And you will feel so easy. You will fix it with no stress. You will not have to worry about where am I gonna get some money now. I don't know how much those things cost, but guess what? You know ahead of time, right? And you start planning for it. And maybe you actually check the prices. You've checked the prices. You've estimated the cost. Let's say it's a roof. You've estimated the cost. You look for those who repair roofs. And you've actually gone out there to source to see which one is affordable for you, which one is going to be okay with you, which different if I want the same roof or not. So all of these things come into play when you know what you have to do ahead of time and you start planning for it. So the last thing on our list for the day is going to be revealing hidden defects. So that's the number 6 thing a home inspection is going to do for you, for the 6th benefit. Revealing hidden defects. Like I said, when you hire these inspectors, right, they actually come in here, they're going to check, they're going to look, they're going to do a third check, right? But guess what? We are still humans, right? There's some things that you might not see, or there's some things that are not their specialty. So all these things that are not visible for them during their walkthrough, or some of these issues like the plumbing, the pests, the sewage, they can actually see that maybe something is wrong with it. But since it's not what they are specialized on doing, they cannot give you a detailed report on those things. And all they have to do is what maybe they could uncover those things and just tell you, hey, there's some things that I've seen that don't look good to me. And now, since I can't or I'm not specialized in doing this, of course, they actually pointed it out to you, but they just couldn't tell you what is exactly wrong with it, right? But you could at that time now, from their recommendation, or if you feel like maybe they might not recommend it to you, but if you feel like you want to go ahead now and check on those things, then you actually have to go there and maybe get some of these specialists in to check and give you a more detailed report on what is wrong with it, or what are some of the things they actually could find. And all in all, they give you a way forward or a way out. So all this inspection gives you a reason or the decision to actually buy the house. If you no longer want to buy the house, if you love the house and you want to negotiate with the seller, if you want to purchase or you want to explore other options, right? So once you have this in hand, you have all these options left to you to make that decision. Because once the seller is done selling it to you, trust me, you are going to bear the burden of the rest of the things they did not fix, or anything that was shown in your inspection that they did not do it. Even if you start the inspection and they tell you at the beginning, they gave you the seller's disclosure says sell as it is. Well, you can decide to equally choose to buy sell as it is, or find a way to negotiate with them to get some of these things fixed. And if they say no, must you buy? I don't think so. Can you explore different options or different houses? Sure. Are you gonna get your home inspection money back? No. But was it worth you spending maybe $300, $500? Some of these residential properties, $1 million. So imagine if you have to spend that money, which you're surely not gonna pay in cash, but get a loan for it, and then after getting that loan, have to look for more money to fix all other things that was wrong with the house, right? So you see that it's better to spend that money, get the inspection done. Even if you end up never buying that house, it's worth the price. Because guess what? You're not surely gonna spend up to $2,000. I don't know. You might not. But it's $2,000 compared to $500,000 that you're going to be paying for that house, or you're going to be buying that house. Although the $500,000 loan you're going to be taking for the house, no, it's nothing compared to it. So do not feel bad if you do this inspection and find all these things, and at the end of the day, seller wants to just sell the house as it is, and you say, hey, I can't see these things, and end up buying it, right? And if you have to look for other options, so be it. But never expect you're going to get your inspection money back. That's not non-refundable. So we've come to the end of this video. Please make sure you like, subscribe, share, and click the notification bell if you haven't already turned it on. Okay, so every time I upload a new video, you will be the first to be notified. Equally, please leave your comments in the comment section. If there is something you want me to talk about, please feel free to leave a comment and we will discuss it in our upcoming videos. As a reminder, this is just for educational purposes. Please do your own research. Go out there, read, research. We have enough places to do our research. We have books, we have the internet, we have all these people, professionals that can actually help us during these processes, right? So make sure you do your research, right? And do your due diligence to search for the best people out there that can give you the best inspection. And in so doing, you will not say, hey, I just followed what she said. No, it's not following what I said. I'm just giving you some education on some of these things that you actually have, some of these processes that you actually face while buying a house. But it's left to you to make sure you do the proper research and see what is good for you and make that decision if you actually want to end up doing the inspection or you never want to do it. You still have those choices, right? The home buyer's guidebook, I'm going to leave the link in the description, and feel free to request for a copy if you want to learn more about what are some of the guidance toward buying a house. So make sure you stay safe out there. Thank you. Until next time.